What we say now is, well, quality is a coffee that has distinctive attributes. And the person says, oh, okay, well, that sounds neat. What's that mean? And we have to stop and we have to think. Well, we say, oh, well, there's intrinsic and there's extrinsic attributes. And they say, what's that mean? And we say, well, coffee has stuff that makes it taste like things, and then it's got everything else about it. And they say, well, yeah, I already knew that. I think everyone already knew that. I'm not even in coffee. So let's go back. What's this distinctive attributes thing mean? And we say, well, it's stuff that stands out to me when I taste it. and now we're starting to get in trouble.
Mapper Forward is bringing a new perspective to the Japanese coffee industry with Mapper Forward Japan. Every 2 weeks, we're highlighting a selected series from the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, translated and available in Japanese on our YouTube channel. Follow along on our new Instagram account, Mapper Forward Japan, where we'll share industry commentary, episode clips, and market updates all in Japanese. And if you're in the Japanese coffee industry, join our mailing list for updates and exclusive content, also in Japanese. All the details are at mapperforward.coffee/Japan, and we'd love you to share this information with your Japanese friends in the coffee industry. Check the show notes for details. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 4 of a really great 5-part series with Ian Fretheim from Cafe Imports. We are talking about what is quality in the coffee industry, and we have traversed many planes in the first 3 episodes of this series, none of them boring. But I think this one could potentially be the spiciest of them all. Ian, in this episode, we're going to talk about why the CVA won't fix anything. Tell me.
Well, I mean, the CVA might fix some things, like it might fix the market against most of the players, right? It might fix the odds.
You're playing on fix there.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
The CVA won't fix anything. We could look at any number of issues and ask maybe how the CVA fixes them. So if we want to look at coffee pricing and transparency, right? We mentioned we're specialty coffee, so we're predicated. We've said ourselves. Someone says, what is specialty coffee versus coffee? Well, specialty coffee, we're the ones that go find quality, and we pay premiums for quality. And how do you guys do that? Well, we know what quality is. Okay. Well, more follow-up questions. How do you know what it is? And then we say something about this podcast. What we say now is, well, quality is a coffee that has distinctive attributes. And the person says, oh, okay, well, that sounds neat. What's that mean? And we have to stop and we have to think. Well, we say, oh, well, there's intrinsic and there's extrinsic attributes. And they say, what's that mean? And we say, well, coffee has stuff that makes it taste like things, and then it's got everything else about it. And they say, well, yeah, I already knew that. I think everyone already knew that. I'm not even in coffee. So let's go back. What's this distinctive attributes thing mean? And we say, well, it's stuff that stands out to me when I taste it. and now we're starting to get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Now we're starting to get into trouble because that doesn't sound very transparent. In fact, that sounds opaque. Right? You hand me that sample and say, I hope you like it, or I hope you find this distinctive. Like, what does that mean? What is distinctive? What am I viewing it against? What's my background? is, if I'm an Arabica cupper, is the one Robusta I've ever had distinctive? Is the Monsoon Malabar distinctive? Does that make it specialty? What if the coffee's too expensive? Price is an extrinsic attribute. Can I say, "Oop, everything is super expensive"? That's not very distinctive, not specialty, not quality. I don't think it fixes transparency. Now, what it does do is it relieves me of any responsibility. If I'm the cupper, and maybe you could maybe this thing called near enemies, where it's like, oh, that sounds like a thing, but it's actually not.
Okay.
So maybe this near enemy of transparency is the fact that I no longer have to be confused, because the parameters by which I could be confused, right? We talked about how the industry norm was fuzzy, right? What is quality? There's industry norms for what outstanding or excellent, whatever means. That's really fuzzy, and that's confusing, and that's not transparent. That's depth. That's absolutely not transparent. But now with distinctive attributes, even that is gone. So that source of confusion might still exist in the human, but technically it's gone. And what that means is that technically, whatever I say is correct. I just have to say it, and now it is correct. That's where we've gone. That's where we've said, okay, so quality is affective. Scoring is a shorthand. It's a jargon for quality. That means that's effective. So affective means it is the person, it's the opinion, it is their view of quality. We're going to boil that down to distinctive. And what we end up doing is we say the industry norm was too fuzzy. There was a potential for confusion. There was a potential for, there was a lack of transparency. And so because we can't solve that, we're not creative enough to address that, or we're not comfortable or secure enough to live in that and work in that, we're just going to take it all off the table. It's all gone now. And the only thing that's left is each individual in the moment, at the moment, and their whim. Are you not entertained?
I'm so fucking entertained.
Come and entertain me. Come and that's what this
circus.
That's what this is, and that's not transparency. That's opacity. Transparency is
massively.
Transparency, in my view, from the cupping side, from the quality side, transparency is, this is what I think quality is, and we are going to do everything we can to get as close as possible to an object-based look at your coffee and see if it matches. That's transparency. It's not I don't think that we shouldn't have an opinion as a business who's buying coffee and then selling it and trying to support a bunch of people all over the place. We're going to have an opinion about
that's your job.
Exactly. That's our job.
Your job is
That's our job.
A green importer, a roaster.
Yes.
They are known for, I go to specific importers when I'm trying to match an importer with a roasting client. I find out what are the kind of coffees that you like.
Yes.
And I go and find the importer who I think you're going to, or a couple of them who I think you're going to be aligned with based on your preferences.
Yes. Yes.
Your job is to have an opinion.
Yes. Yes. So for us, we've codified our preferences. That's what it is. It's our preferences, and we'll call it this. It's our preferences and our take on the so-called industry norm.
Right.
Right. So it's not purely our preference. I don't particularly care for anaerobic coffees most of the time. I just don't. It's not like my first choice to bring home. Every once in a while, someone gives me something. I'm like, wow, that's you did an amazing job, and happily drink it, but it's like not my number one preference.
Mhm.
But in terms of an industry norm, there's lots of people who love those. And we want to, when we taste those, we want to answer the question, what do the people who love these look for? What do they want? So we're trying to answer that question. And we want to do that in a codified sort of way, which means when you submit an anaerobic coffee, it's not against Ian's personal preference. It's against what we've said. We judge anaerobics like this. We're okay when we look at anaerobics, we're okay with some perception of sort of fermenty fruit flavors. That's fine. We kind of expect it. Ian at home on Saturday is a little disappointed if I brew the coffee and it's got some fermenty fruit flavors. That's not my preference, right? So there's a difference there, and transparency is stating that up front. So the CVA goes the opposite direction, I believe. It means I don't have to state it, and I can change it whenever I want. I just change what I think at the table. There's no check, because whatever I say is just what it is. So it doesn't fix transparency. I don't think it fixes like I don't have time to cup. Because what, you kind of like you got all the paper. I mean, they could make an electronic one. It's out there, I'm sure.
Fucking sheets.
But like even that, like even if you make it electronic, you're still recommended to do 2 flights for the same coffee, and you're still recommended to do 5 cups for the one and 3 to 5 for the other. And you're not replicating anything yet. So you're doing more work for probably
less data.
Probably worse output, because you're more tired and you're more aware of what you're doing, of like what the coffee, like you're less blind. It's riddled with stuff. And so
are we not entertained? That's my favorite thing you've said so far, because that's exactly the way that we should be looking at this. I had such high hopes for what was going to come out of all of this.
Yeah. Well,
like when I had an initial conversation with Yanis about it, and he told me what they were going to do with the data, and they told me what, how they were going to do this. And I pushed back on some of it when he came on the podcast at World of Coffee Dubai. I started realizing, like, hold on. Like, surely they're going to deliver on this thing. They would not hijack the conversation of 2024 and 2025 with this if they weren't 100% sure that this was absolutely going to fix so many things, because boy, oh fucking boy, are they focusing hard on this in a year where, like, I asked Yanis in that conversation during that episode, right before we went on air, I said, listen, we're asking everybody the same question. How should people look at the volatility of 2024 in the coffee industry? Yeah. And he's like, there's no volatility. And I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this must be going to fix everything, or at least a lot of things, and make things better for farmers as well as for people who are about to lose their entire livelihoods from what's happening in 2024, let alone what's going to happen in 2025 and 2026.
Yeah.
This doesn't fix anything.
Yeah, no, it doesn't, does it? It doesn't. What about the legacy cupping form? Does it fix that? I think no. I think it doesn't. If you
surely we could have improved on that.
Well,
no. Their argument is that this is an improvement on it. What?
If you want to do something kind of funny,
take
a screenshot of the legacy cupping form and feed it into ChatGPT
Oh, that would be fun.
and give it a prompt. Say, hey, I've got this old cupping form. Can you update it to become a descriptive analysis or a descriptive cupping form and also an effective cupping form? Can you make two cupping forms out of this? One descriptive, one effective.
What does it do?
It it doesn't
Creates the CVA.
I mean, way too close for.
You can't write this fucking movie, bro.
I mean, way too close. Way too close. Like, and let's get back to that conversation, right? About being a sensory scientist or a food technologist or a pseudo version of that. Like this idea that, like, this is what I hear this a bunch. Like, oh yeah, it's kind of clunky, it's kind of cumbersome, it doesn't work, but it's sensory science. And it's like, okay, well, washing your hands is also supported by science. But if I come out and I just start rubbing my hands together or clapping them and say that's washing my hands, it's not. Just because I say at the same time, washing your hands is supported by science, washing your hands is, but this isn't washing your hands. Now, if you take take that old form and look at it, and this is, I don't have it in front of me, but I've done this. Look at the legacy and then look at the new ones and count how many things are similar, new version to old, and how many things are different. And of the things that are different, how many are meaningful and how many are innocuous. What's innocuous? The kata, the check all that apply on the descriptive form, is super low resolution, and it's paired with a free entry field where you write whatever you want. So if I've tasted any amount of coffee and I slurp a coffee and I taste dark chocolate, that's not an extreme cupping note by any stretch of the imagination. I can't check a box for dark chocolate. I'm going to write it down. If I write down dark chocolate, I'm going to ignore the kata. Most of the things that come instantly to my mind, and not just me, like the person who's cupped for 15 years, most of the things that come to mind to any professional coffee taster are already beyond the check all that apply. So why is it there? It's there so that they can say check all that apply and make the form look more complicated, more complex. There's more to it. It's a thing. I can talk about this. I could teach now. When I teach a certificate, I don't do this, by the way.
Thank you. Thank God.
But I'll say, when I teach my class, I get to do a whole thing on check all that apply because it's there. Doesn't help anyone. It's in the way. Makes the form more visually cluttered. But it's there and I'm going to teach. So it doesn't make the legacy form, well, and let's say, if all that was required for the legacy form, the 2004, was to split it in two and zhuzh it up a little bit. Like, we've got, the scale, like the scaling is new. So the scaling is mostly new. I mean, the 2004 scaling was 17 points and what people really used was 9 points. So that's actually pretty close to what the new scaling is. That's beside the point. If all that was needed was to split it and zhuzh it around a little bit, is Ted Lingle going to get a shit ton of royalties for this? Because he did most of the work. Probably. It was already done, right? Like the CVA is just his cupping form. That's it. It's not new. Yes, there's 38.
I really got to get Ted Lingle on the podcast.
You should.
I really need to have a whole conversation with Ted Lingle about this because...
Give the man some flowers because in 2004, he made a cupping form that was cutting edge, food technologist, sensory science ready. And he had to suffer through the last 20 years of us dummies not understanding that all we needed was a copy machine and some whiteout to rearrange. That's it's a real stretch. It's a real stretch to think that, oh, we're gonna improve the form by not really changing things. Couldn't we make it more?
But they keep saying, like, I have seen Yana say publicly that the CVA is an improvement on the 2004 cupping form.
Yes.
So we need to retrain everybody then. We need to re-register and recertify everybody and then get everybody, bring everybody over to this. This is a money grab, in my opinion.
Well, that sounds like an improvement, Lee. You just have to be very careful about who's making the statement and who's asking the question. What does it mean to be an improvement?
I don't know if everybody understood the sarcasm in your voice there. Just be clear, there was sarcasm there. Okay.
Yeah.
We have one episode to go, folks, and we're going to be talking about the correlation between cuppers, Q graders, and technology. So join us for the next episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.